So skip that one and go to the next one down, and there's your cheapest flight here, $140. So that's not bad considering we're less than a month away from this flight leaving. Bulls, it's JJ the Lonely Bull in Asia. And today we are talking about traveling. And one of the reasons why I love living here in Bonifacio Global City, BGC, in Metro Manila. Um, it's because it's such an easy hub. You know, I call it my home base because it's so simple to travel anywhere in Southeast Asia or even anywhere in the Philippines, pretty much. Um, I know a lot of people they like living in other areas like Dumaguete and places like that, but you don't have an international airport, so you have to fly to an international airport before you can get out of the country. Here in Metro Manila, I'm 20, 30 minutes away from the airport where I can hop on a plane very cheaply and get to where I want to go. You know, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Japan, wherever in Southeast Asia. It's relatively cheap. And another plus is if you're in one of these other areas, Dumaguete, I'll use for an example, maybe you have to fly to Manila and then fly out. So you're going to be charged that airline ticket to get to Manila or get to Cebu before you can even get out of the country. So there's a cost involved there, plus not to mention transportation to and from the airport. So that's another plus for living in Metro Manila, and BGC in specific is where I live. So I want to show you how easy it is. I use a website called momondo.com, and I'll post it down below in the links. But I've been using that since 2015, so almost 10 years, and I've never had any problems with it. So what I want to do is I want to share my screen right now so you can see what I look at when I am booking my flights. Okay. So let's check this out here. And let me first tell you that the farther out you can book your flight, the further out, the cheaper it's probably going to be. So, and there's specific dates that are cheaper than others. So if you're flying over, say, a holiday like Christmas and New Year's, you're going to pay a premium price for those tickets. So let's just say I want to fly to, I've already got this up here, so this is going to be easy. I want to fly out of Manila and I want to go to Bangkok. And let's check out the dates here. So I had dates put in previously, but I want to show you here what the colors on the calendar mean. The green dates on the calendar are the cheapest flight dates, and yellow is about average, and then the red ones are the higher or the premium prices. So when you're looking for a flight, look ahead, figure out when you're going to go and try to look ahead as far as you can, and be flexible on your flight dates. So say if I wanted to travel, say in July, and I want to go to Bangkok for a week. So leaving on the 8th and coming back on the 14th. So you bring that up, there's your dates right there. I picked both of those dates because they're both green, so you're going to get a lower rate, generally speaking. So let's check and see what options I have. Okay, so there we go. There's your options. So I want to show you a little bit about what this shows on this page. So up here is the trip that you have planned. You can put 2 travelers or 1 traveler. It's only going to give you the cost for 1 person. So it'll tell you what 2 people are. So let's just change that to 1, just to make it a little simpler. Okay, so there's your trip up above here, right here. And then this area here with the blue and the yellow tabs, those are dates. And if you look at the tabs, they're different heights. The lower the height, the cheaper the flight is. So you can actually customize if you have a flexible date for flying anywhere, you can customize your plans by looking at the lower flights. And when you put your cursor over the date, it'll pop up the price. So that's 92. So this one's 94, and that's a one way. So basically 94 up and 94 back. Now, those prices are estimates, so don't think that's the gospel truth, but it gives you a little bit of an idea. So that's 92. If I leave on the 12th, that's 91. So, and on the 13th is 91. So let's say I want to leave on Friday the 12th. I have that flexibility. And then if I look over here on my return dates, look at over here on the 17th, it's $70. So you can get a really cheap fare on the 19th. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. So on the 19th. So basically, you're staying 1 week. You're coming on a Friday and you're leaving on a Friday. So let's do that. Let's switch those dates. And then down here, you'll have to click on search these dates because if you notice up here, the original dates are still up there. So click on search these dates and it'll bring up the new options for you. Now let's look at these options. We don't want that. Okay, so you can these tabs here shows how it's put in order or ranked. You can rank it by cheapest, the best flight, or the quickest flight. Now, if you're traveling anywhere in Southeast Asia, your flights are fairly short anyway. So quickest, you're spending extra money on a quickest flight to Thailand or Japan or Vietnam doesn't make a lot of sense because you're only saving 15, 17 minutes here. You're only saving 17 minutes. You're not going to pay $150 difference just to save 17 minutes. Now, if you're flying home, say to the US or wherever you're from, that might be an option for you to check out the quickest flights if you don't want to be in the air a long time. So we're going to click on cheapest. And this top one you're going to see is not necessarily the cheapest because it's a sponsor. It's sponsored by eDreams, which is one of the services that run through Momondo that you can purchase your ticket through. So skip that one and go to the next one down, and there's your cheapest flight here, $140. So that's not bad considering we're less than a month away from this flight leaving. So, or almost exactly a month away. So $140 isn't bad. So if that's in your price range, then you can look at these options here and you can see they go up as you go through them. But the one thing you have to look at after you look for price is length of your flight, because you want to make sure if you're only traveling to a Southeast Asian country, you don't want a lot of layovers and you don't want long, lengthy flights where you want to go to Bangkok, but you're flying into Vietnam and then you got a 6-hour layover before you get to Bangkok. That doesn't make any sense. So you want to make sure that your flight length is the correct length, nonstop here. And then here's where your flights, that's where you leave, and this is where you come back. So this particular flight leaves at 11:10 p.m. and comes into Bangkok 1:40 the next morning local time. So this +1 means that it's the next day. Now, that might not be ideal for you because you may get in early in the morning and not be able to check into your hotel or your Airbnb. Now, if you have one of those Airbnbs where they have 24-hour check-in or hotel where you can tell them you're checking in late, this might be a good option for you because you get into Bangkok at 1:40 in the morning and traffic's not as heavy. You can find a taxi or grab fairly easily, and they're not going to try to scam you a little bit for some extra cash because it's not during big rush hours. So that might be an option for you if you don't have if you're not in a hurry to check in or you need to check in by a particular time. Your returning flight is leaves at 12:20 in the afternoon and gets into Manila about 4:55 Manila time that afternoon. So that's not a bad flight. The only issue with that is you're right there during rush hour traffic. So it's going to be harder to find a grab because this is a Friday. So it's going to be harder to find a grab. Taxis may try to get you to get in without using their meter. So there's some issues that you might um, not like with that particular one. So, but there's options. So let's look on the next one. So the next one, same departure. The arrival, though, you're leaving at 4 a.m. and getting in at 8:35 a.m. So that would mean you would have to get up pretty early in the morning or just not go to bed. This one here, you're leaving Manila at 6:20 p.m., getting into Bangkok at 8:50. So that's decent. Your return flight, you're leaving at 12:20 and getting in at 4:55. So there's your rush hour again. So here you got the 6:20 to 8:50, and then you got the 4 a.m. again. So just keep looking down. This is the one I like. Well, hang on. This is the one I like here. So you're paying a little extra, 166, but you get into Bangkok at 8:50 in the evening. So traffic's not going to be super bad. I mean, it'll still be busy because it is Bangkok. But so if you're taking a taxi or a Grab, you're going to run into some traffic. Me particular, I like just using the trains, and you can use the train all the way. Now, these discount airfares, usually flying into DMK, which is Don Muang Airport. The more expensive flights fly into the newer airport, which is Suvarnabhumi. Now, both the airports are nice, and they're both in different areas, but they're easy to get to where you need to be from both airports. So don't let that dissuade you any as far as what airport you want to fly into. You're going to have no issues. Another thing you need to be aware of, and I'll show you right down here, is you may fly into one airport and leave from another. So this one, you're flying into DMK or Don Muang, then you're leaving through Suvarnabhumi. So you want to make sure you look on your tickets to make sure you know which airport you're coming into and especially which airport you're leaving from. Otherwise, you could be in some deep trouble because those airports are pretty much completely on the opposite sides of the city. So it's going to take you a while to get from one to the other if you make a mistake. So anyway, so going back to this one, this is the one I like because you get in at 8:50 at night. So got plenty of time. You can tell your Airbnb when you're going to be there. And I've done this before. I've gotten in. It's like I'll be checking in at 10. A lot of these Airbnbs have self check-ins now. You just have to talk to them and communicate with them on when you're going to be in. And then you leave at 9:20 at night. So I'll check out at noon or 1 or whatever from my a hotel or Airbnb. And a lot of times the condo or the hotel will let you keep your luggage in the lobby until you're ready to head to the airport. Me, I'm carrying a backpack. That's all I carry. I just do a carry on. So I don't have that much. So I can take my backpack with me, and I'll, maybe go and grab lunch somewhere, or I'll go and, in the afternoon, I'll have a couple of beers before I head on out to the airport around 6 p.m. And then you get in at 1:50 the next morning in Manila, and you're not going to deal with hardly any traffic. And so you're not going to get that little extra boost in fees and fares if you take a taxi or a Grab. So it's going to be cheaper. And then as long as you've got a place to go to when you get back to Manila, like me, because this is my home base, I can just get in a taxi as soon as I get from the airport, and they drop me off right at my door here at the condo, and I just go up to my condo and just basically drop my backpack and fall into bed, and I'm good until next morning. So for 166, you're paying about $25 more than the lowest fare, but those times are great. That's what I really like about that. So, but whatever fits your plans or what you like, you can look at these things. Now, over here on the left are some filters that you can go through. Now, when I first put in my dates and where I want to go, I don't use any filters because I want all those options that I can scroll through and find the one I like the best. You may want to use some filters before you put in your flight information, or you can do it afterwards. So if you want to narrow down your choices, they've got recommended filters here. how many stops you want, whether it's nonstop only, one stop or two stops. Now, that's mostly for longer flights. Um, Fee assistance. So if you have just a carry-on bag or if you have check bags, you can put that in there too. Um, what preference you have on what time you want to take off and what time you want to take off from Manila and Bangkok. So you can put that bracket in as far as what times you want. You can also pick your airport or your airline if you want. Um, you can pick your airport. So if you don't want to fly into Don Muang, you only want to fly in and out of Suvarnabhumi, then you can just pick that. And if you're doing longer flights, you can choose how long your total flight duration is. That way, you can eliminate any long layovers, and you can also do that too. You can eliminate the layover time period too, and then you can adjust your flight to or your price too. If you don't want to spend, how much, what's the most you would spend on a flight on a ticket. Your cabin choices, if you want to do economy or business or anything like that. You can choose that. Where your layovers would be if you have layovers. That's if you're traveling longer distances. But anyway, what kind of aircraft you want? A Boeing, you want a Airbus, whatever. You want the big ones. But I will warn you though, the more filters you use, the less options you will have. So just remember that. Just remember that like I do, I always just do it without any filters, and then you can add filters later if you want. There may be an airline that you hate flying in, so you can check that box or uncheck that box that I don't want any flight options from there. So once you find your flight that you like, and this is the one I'm going to take or would take, then you click on View on the Deal. So you can click here, and it brings up your details. So I'm going to be on an Airbus A320, which is a good size plane. It shows you all the things that it has, all the options that it has. It's a narrow body jet. It's got Wi-Fi, 28-degree seat pitch. You can pre-order your light meal. They give you a light meal on that 3.5-hour trip. But here's your flight leaving Manila at 6:20, arriving in Bangkok at 8:50, and then your return flight is here. So if everything looks good, you can click on the deals. Now this will come up, and let me change screens again. Okay, so here's your information here that shows your dates and your time and your airport. Which terminal you're coming and going to. Here's your price details. So it's $165.80. Carry-on baggage is free. We're not doing a check-in. And as you come down here, it'll give you some options. So this is basically your upgrades or your upsells. So we're selected the economy class. So we have a carry-on bag, no check bags, non-refundable, unchangeable. So if you're sure that this is the trip you're going to take, then you can do that. If you think some things may be up in the air and you might have to change or cancel, you might want to get that little assurance through these economy class options. So you can change your fees and things like that. So these are the costs for that, but I'm not going to do that. I just go with the basic stuff. We're just going to do the basic. It shows you can get a premium or platinum, gives you all the options for that. You can pick your seats for extra money. You can pretty much do anything. We're just going to keep on going because I'm just going to pay the basics and not adding anything. No VIP lounge. You can do all this if you want. It's up to you. But if you want to travel on a budget, then skip all these things. It's going to give you a lot more money for the fun things when you get to your destination. So here's your final confirmation right here. So this gives your total 165.80, and then you put in your bank card information and blah blah blah. You pay. So that's how that works. All right. So $165.80 to go round trip from Manila to Thailand. You can look at place. Let's do this. Let's look at dates farther out. Here, let me share this screen again. All right, let's check this out. Let's change the dates here. Let's say we're going to go in August or even September. Let's try September. Look at all the green dates in September. We can go. Let's do September 10th through. Let's do 2 weeks to the 24th. So we got the 10th through the 24th. Let's update everything else the same, and let's see what our prices are here. See if we can beat those deals. All right, we'll go to cheapest. There's your sponsored. It looks like 134 is your cheapest flight, your cheapest price, and you're flying Air Asia on the way up and Cebu Pacific on the way back. 3.5 hours basically both ways. You're leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you come back at 11 at night. And you get into Manila at 3:40 a.m. You lose an hour coming back. You gain an hour going up. You lose an hour coming back. Thailand's an hour ahead of us, or I'm sorry, an hour behind us. So if it's 11 p.m. here, it's 10 p.m. in Thailand. So $134. So that's pretty good. There's your flight information. You're entering. You're coming into Bangkok at Don Muang International, and you're leaving at Don Muang International. So you got the same airport. So there's your deals there. So you can look around here, and again, here's your little tabs here, so we can find something cheaper maybe. Let's do that Tuesday instead, and let's go back on. Let's go back on the 26th. And we'll search those days, see if we can get something cheaper. It may or may not be. Yeah, we got a little bit cheaper. $121. So, you just kind of play around with it. And this never failed me. I've always had good luck with Momondo.com. I'll put the link down below. Make sure you comment, like and share, and subscribe if you haven't. And I love sharing this experience with you guys. And hopefully it's helpful. And hopefully you learned something that maybe you didn't know before. If you did, if you use another service, another application, or another website, feel free to put those in the comments below too. I know there are plenty of them. This is just the one I started using in 2015 when I started coming to the Philippines, and I've enjoyed it. I've never had an issue with it, so I just keep using it, and it's never let me down. So I'll let you go this time, and as always, mabuhay, my friend, live life, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.